was not. And the worst part is, I'm going to the show.
I was
And I
never
never even shared the code.
You were not
He
required to
started.
laugh at judge jokes.
You don't have. It doesn't bode well for you unless you have food.
I looked it up.
Should we reset the field?
We're Hydra C 7710. The two drivers are myself and Olivia, and Jennifer is our backup driver. We have Peace, Jennifer, Olivia, myself, Eric, Asta, Booker, and Allison. Our autonomous is gonna start over there. Yeah, over there. Sorry. It's gonna start over there, and it will drive forward until the IR seeker detects the beacon. At which point it will stop. This arm will go out, score the cube, and our main arm will come up. Our intake will flip out, and our servo arm will go inside, out of harm's way. And then we'll drive backwards until this touch sensor is hit, whereas then it will turn, drive forward, turn, and then it's right there ready for us to score cubes for Telly out.
Alright, are we good to select autonomous or?
Yes, yes.
Okay, maybe we'll over here. Alright, Trevor, you want to line it up? And then you just have to come out the NXT buttons program. Autonomous. You just have to come out the NXT buttons program and go to the autonomous program. Alright, so I'm just going to talk about the code behind the autonomous. What goes on what you don't see while the robot's doing autonomous. So, our first autonomous started with us just scoring the IR beacon. And we should be able to show that for you today after this one. This is our final autonomous that we have currently. But what we realized is that after scoring the IR beacon, we would take an extra 15 to 20 seconds to do our flip-up mechanism for our side rollers. Because if our side rollers are just out, we're out of dimensions. So we decided to eliminate time. We're going to, after we score the IR beacon, we're going to add in code to have the arm raised, bring this servo arm back in so it's out of the arm's way whenever we're scoring for cubes. And the arm is going to come back down, but the side rollers are already out. So we're ready to start scoring for Telly-out. Now that wasn't it. We was like, we gotta push the limits. So what we did is, what if we could go backwards and go right in front of the cubes? So what we added into the code was, we added the touch sensor to the robot, which you'll see it's right back here in this corner. And what happens is, the robot goes forward, does everything I told you with the arm raising, bringing the servo arm back in. But now what happens is the robot moves backwards indefinitely until in the code there's a statement that says if touch sensor equals 1. And at that moment it would activate the while statement that would say robot drives forward and turns. But what we realized is once touch sensor equals 1, when the robot moves off the wall, it's not going to be hitting touch sensor anymore. So now we ran into that issue. So what we did is we created a variable, and we named that variable burst. And what happens is when the touch sensor gets hit, the touch sensor adds the value of 1 to that variable. So we have a statement in the code that says if burst variable is less than 1, it runs all that scoring the IR beacon stuff. But once the touch sensor hits the wall, it adds 1 to the variable, and we have another statement that says if burst variable is greater than 1, then it goes forward and drives and turns so we're facing the cubes and ready to go for a Telly-out. So now that eliminates the time for our Telly-out that we can score more cubes, and it creates a little, I like it, it's a cool autonomous, I like. But yeah, so are you ready to run it?
Are we? Yeah.
You good?
Yes.
Just line up.
Watch the robot's dead.
I'm gonna. You guys ready?
We good?
3, 2, 1, go.
Also forget to mention, the pause is not on accident, it is purpose, because we realized that a lot of the other alliances have autonomous just from the IR beacon as well. So we created a 10-second delay. There it is. That, there it is. That waits for the other alliances robot to be done. No!
Oh, that's the
Pretend
first.
that never happened.
Eric, did you line our answer?
Yeah, I did.
Don't
Okay.
forget.
Are you sure they were right on?
They should have been. We have marks on the braces that show how far we bring the arm down. So if you don't bring it down all the way, it kind of does that.
It'll affect the time that it goes up.
Yeah, because we have it set at a certain weight for the arm to go up and down. Can we try that again?
Yes.
You do it? Okay, so you want to come?
We're not judging on completeness of scoring or any of that stuff.
Okay, cool. That would-
Just on concept.
Yeah.
Come on.
Wait, servo arm back out.
Yeah.
He's like, I do only live once.
Yeah.
Alright, tell us, can we select autonomous, or can we select our autonomous?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright. Alright, I just align it. Okay.
I'm sorry. That was good. I'm sorry.
I start laughing at YOLO just now.
I tried holding it back.
He couldn't seem to work, and
You ready?
Yep. Oh, wait, hold on. I lied. Don't listen to me. Okay.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
10-second delay. Don't get too excited.
There was a person on YouTube who commented about hashtag YOLO, and you brought it up, so I was like, oh god.
There it is. It's not supposed to do that. Ah, here we go. Alright, well.
Hydra curse.
Let's see.
Just let it, just...
That time there was extra weight on the back because the intake didn't pop out like it should have.
Okay.
So, you guys want to get something like that happen, or would you like to see it? Maybe, or let's just,
From
okay,
here,
let's move on.
let's move forward.
Alright, that's cool.
if we have to, we'll come back around
Okay,
to
that
it.
battery
But
started to come out of the hole.
Oh, well done. Alright, so, you guys want to tell it out now?
So from here, talk me through your strategy from this point to endgame.
Okay. Jennifer, you want to talk about strategy?
Okay, I'll talk about that.
You want to-
Okay, so because we have an alliance team, we try to assess our strengths and our weaknesses. So if they can flag spin, then we will hang. And when we're on the field, we definitely try to score as many cubes as possible, try to balance out that pendulum, and just go, 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 go. That's basically it. But, also when we're driving up, we have, we definitely raise our arm while we're going to the pendulum, because the amount of time to raise your arm when you're there and then score, it just takes too much time. So we definitely do that, and there's great communication between the two drivers, and that's basically it.
And we hang at the end.
And we hang at the end.
And another thing also is, what has happened is a lot of times during teleop, we get defense. For example, our last competition, the team duct tape was playing mad defense on us. It was bad. So what we would do is, instead of coming back around, we had the threat of if our arm was too high, like Jennifer said, which we raised to the pendulum, we would hit the hanging, and that would cancel our points for hanging if we were to. So we come across and bring the arm down and come across this way. And the new lock we created allowed us to only grab 4 cubes from over here, and sometimes it grabs 5. It's still in its development phases, but it's still a great device that we've added onto the robot that helps us to control the robot in a more accurate way.
Okay.
Let's see it.
Are you ready? We blew 1 or 2?
Blue 1.
Alright.
Ready?
Want to skate out of your
Yep, over there.
And you have as much time as you need to show us what you want. There's not a limit.
within
Okay.
your time block.
Within your time. It's not a limit.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
I used to that being there. We just added that on.
So right now we're just going back and forth, going to the side rollers are really effective. At first we had Lego motors, and okay, at first we had Lego motors, and the Lego motors would pick up cubes, but it would take about 30 seconds to pick up 4 cubes. We realized that was taking way too much time, so we changed them to DC motors, and we run into the issue that DC motors are so powerful, it pushes the back door back so much. So that's why we created the lock I was talking about. That's what it's supposed to do, and it does it mostly. We're doing pretty good. And another thing to do is, the reason while we're about to score is because, do we open the door?
That's your servo motor.
That's the servo. It does that sometimes. There it is. Alright. Okay, alright. The servo lock is, like I said, so it's a great idea. We just need to do some edits for it. And that's where the clicking's coming from. Because actually, last couple days ago, no, it was last night. I lied, wow. We had another meeting actually at my house. And we added that onto there. And what happened is, the servo, one of the gears, was actually broken. So we took it apart and replaced it with another servo gear. So that servo gear, one of the teeth was missing at the top. So every now and again we get that clicking noise, or like now.
You're on the corner. There. Go back a little and I'll hit it against the back.
Yeah, it's back.
I like it. Back up.
Back up and then I'll hit it against the back.
Or not. It's kind of moving now. I don't know what it is.
Come on, you're like right there. Bring it back. Got it.
There you go.
Well, at least I came out.
Yeah, let's just, okay.
You're on
So,
top of them.
so that's the in-game scoring mechanism. So, what does your end game look like?
Oh.
Okay, our end
Thank you,
game.
Gina.
Just lift up the robot.
You're okay if you lift it up.
Feel free to pick it up.
It's
It's
perfect.
good.
Okay, absolutely.
You got it?
You got it?
I'm on another block.
Just
And if you want to clear this
Please do.
zone,
Okay,
please
let's clear that.
Wait, pause.
Okay. I'll put those over here.
Are we still on?
Okay.
Hang.
Yeah, our end game, we basically, according to our line partner, the lines will either hang and, the lines will be flag spin and we'll hang. Or what will happen is, we'll continue the flag spin while the other alliance does flag spinning. We'll continue the score while the other alliance does flag spinning. So that way we can continue to build points. And if the alliance can hang as well, they'll do flag spinning and hang while we continue the score. So depending on the alliance, we'll either do hanging. But this is us hanging.
Yeah, that's good.
the battery's so good.
Yep. That's just me. Yeah.
Go down.
No, we can lift it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some issues with our hooks actually. What happened was our hooks are actually not the same, so it didn't really look really professional. So we attempted to try to bend them. Trevor, you can tell the story because he was the one that was bending them. He wasn't happy.
Yeah, I was rebending one of them, but that piece of metal, that particular piece had already been bent too many times, so getting the last bend in, so there was some extra and then it broke. And then we found these other two pieces and we bent them.
Yeah.
Did you want to do anything else?
You want to try to tell us again?
Yes.
1.5.
So, we got a little over a minute, so any final thoughts you've got for us?
Jennifer, did you tell them about the autonomous parking area?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Did I?
I think that's it.
I don't know.
Stay-
Oh, I lied. There's one more thing. I don't know if you saw that I'm stepping on the field. I feel like I'm committing a sin. What happens is it okay if I turn off the robot? It'll be easier for me to move.
Yeah.
What happens is this back door, as you saw, we added code into it. So that actually, when the button is pressed on the joystick, that this lock lifts up first, and it waits about 300 milliseconds until this can lift up, and then this all comes down, and that comes down, all in one button, which is just like pretty cool to me. 'Cause in my opinion, I would have just done like, press this button and then press that button. But to have it all in one button makes it a lot easier for driver control and quicker for us to score once it works. But yeah, that's about it. Anyone else?
Oh, I don't think I did talk about that.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so during autonomous, we can either park onto the ramp or locate the IR beacon. So
That's before we're working with our alliance.
yeah, it really just depends what's better for them.
Yeah, and that delay. Yeah. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Oh, okay, you got it. 1, 2, 3. Uno, dos, y tres.
Thanks, guys.
It's funny how you didn't mention the state record.
Oh.